Hello, Carla. Welcome. Hi.
Yeah,
How are you?
doing
Welcome.
doing well, thank you.
Good. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Gonna let a couple more people in. Hello, Melissa and Nick. Welcome in. Savannah. So everybody's just coming in. And Carla, do you want to tell me where you're from?
I live in South Bend, Indiana,
Oh, cool. Me too, almost.
almost.
Nearby. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet in person, but I hope to in future. Well, I'm glad that you made the time to come today.
With a lot of curiosity.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay, we've got one more person coming. Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Okay. It's cold here.
Nice to see you. Thank you for being
Nice
here.
to see you. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Savannah. Thanks for coming. And Diana Barnes, thank you so much for making it in. So glad that you could make it on this kind of short notice. So Savannah, Diana, Melissa, Nick, and Carla. Looks like we're all here. So I'm just going to start sharing a little bit of a presentation with you and just kind of roll out some info and details regarding the Ayurvedic Self Care Series that I'm offering. And I'll just go through the material and I'm here to answer any questions. This is totally, open for discussion. This is a conversation where we all can participate. And as we go along, feel free to ask any questions. And I will definitely open it up for that as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so that you can see what I have prepared. And take me just a second. Okay. All right. So can you see my welcome screen here? And if you all can hear me okay and see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So welcome. I'm Sigva Van Wy. I live in just outside South Bend, Indiana, and I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. So I do Ayurvedic health and wellness consultations because this is a holistic medical science from India. So originated in India, but it's just all about um, holistic science and understanding your body's unique constitution in order to understand what you need for you. So health is going to look differently. Health and wellness and balance and all those good things are going to look differently just for each one of us because we all have unique individual needs. So that's why I really resonated with Ayurveda because I don't believe that there's just a one size medical system that fits all. You know, they each have their place, the Western system, the Eastern system. And I really like to share and learn about a system that empowers people to take care of themselves, you know, and prevent disease before it starts so that, um, you know, we're not trying to fix ourselves after the fact, but instead preventing something before it gets to the point where it's getting really hard and challenging to find healing solutions. And I just think that there's a profound wisdom in that. So what I really like to do with my clients and is to really educate them that, you know, Ayurveda isn't just another medical system that you have to be dependent on a doctor or practitioner, but that you would be learning all the skills and techniques and practices that you can do on your own for yourself. But the key is just really understanding what you need when you need it. And I'll be kind of repeating that as we go through here. So I just want to welcome you all for being here, taking the time to, yeah, just understand how this can support you, how Ayurveda can really just meet you where you're at. It's a slow, gentle, and customized approach to self-care. So it's not a quick fix, it's not a trend, you know, it's something that really takes time to understand the concepts and then implement them maybe one at a time, but just slowly so that it becomes like your new normal. You know, these habits that will be forming in a slow, intentional way will help you actually create new patterns and new habits of health and self-care. And this just this Ayurveda, you know, it just has a lot of wisdom, a lot of tools to take care of ourselves. But what's really nice about it in this setting is that there will be a supported community along the way. And if community is not for you, that's totally fine. Like you can learn, it's because it is individualized, right? So we're going to learn together, but then you're going to, with the takeaway, you know, you're going to go and practice on yourself and implement it in yourself in your own life. But I will be here, and if you choose to be part of the community, then we will all be here to support each other along the way. And that can be a really powerful um, form of, you know, us really seeing something through. You know, it gives us a little bit of accountability. It helps us to show up for ourselves as well as showing up for others. And it can just give you that good sense of support that helps us, you know, to really see things through. And this series and the whole Ayurvedic approach is about remembering something that your body already knows, and that's living harmoniously with circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is just the rhythm that the nature already lives by, right? The sun rises at the same time every day, sets at the same time every day, depending on, you know, what season we're in. But in general, it's very routined, right? The animals in nature are very routined. And so therefore there's this circadian rhythm that they live by. And because we're made of the very elements found in nature and all created things, then we're all really made of the same stuff. And so returning to as much as we can come into living in harmoniously with circadian rhythm, then this inevitably will help keep us in balance. But there's a way to do it, and it's easy, it's simple, it's practical once you learn it. And that's what I really want to share with you today. So before we talk about self-care, I just want to experience it even briefly with all of you. just sync our energy and drop in together so we can all get what we need here today. So I just want to invite you to get in a comfortable upright position, placing your hands on your knees, on your lap very comfortably, and just invite a deep belly breath. So just taking some really deep inhales and then long exhales. When our exhales are a little longer than our inhales, this helps to really calm the nervous system. So just letting the breath rise from the base of the spine, filling up the belly, letting it expand the rib cage, and just even lifting the shoulders gently, feeling our neck and head, and then releasing the breath slowly and fully. So pulling the belly in to exhale from the bottom of the lungs. So just take a few thorough, deep, expansive breaths in your own rhythm and with awareness at each level of your body as the breath moves through each location. Your awareness is on the breath. Now on your next exhale, you can bring your breath up to your third eye between your eyebrows. And this is where we want to create and set an intention or a sankalpa. Sankalpa is a little bit more established in your truth, not just an intention or a wish or a desire, but something, a truth that you really want to establish. Like your intention, what is your truth for being here? What would it be like to prioritize self-care without guilt? Or how would it actually feel to know that you can make this time for yourself every single day? What would that look like and how would that feel? And realize what is it that you need and what you desire? And just hold that in your third eye now and take a few more deep breaths. Letting that intention and sankalpa permeate through all the cells and tissues of your body. Now coming back to your present awareness and your surroundings, I invite you to gently open your eyes. And if you can turn on your camera, I'd love to see you. I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, but if
I
only
wish I
if you're comfortable. Yeah, if you can. I know some people's cameras can't.
my camera is broke.
Hi.
LOL.
Hi. It's okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, so intention's important. Sankalpa helps us to get resolved into an intention, not just like, oh yeah, it'd be so nice if I could just spend all this time doing self-care every day, but it's like, no, like it's not just an idea, it's actually possible. Um, so we'll talk about how we can make that possible. So I know we are all trying and people are doing so many right things, right? We're doing all the right things that we know we can do. Trying multiple types of supplements, reading or doing a lot of internet research to find the answers to our health questions. And yeah, there's a lot of information out there, and we end up self-diagnosing a lot of things because we can read all the symptoms, and so all of a sudden, like, we think we have all of these health issues, and we think we know what it is because all the symptoms match what we're feeling, and so all of a sudden we have this health issue and this health issue and this health issue, and then it says to take all these herbs or all these supplements or to do all these things, and we follow it and we follow it, and we're trying one thing after another, and we're doing all this research, and we're trying to find the answers. But then I don't know if any of you can relate to that, and then just at the end of it feeling really exhausted or even just disconnected and even disappointed, that the things you're doing, the things you're trying, you really do want solutions. And, we turn to the internet in a lot of ways to try to find these free solutions and things, but we end up getting a lot of misinformation and spend a lot of time and money trying to hone in on what is it going to be that actually works for me. So is that something anybody can relate to besides me? Right? But so the issue isn't effort, right? You're putting in the effort, but what we're losing is the true knowledge and wisdom of our own body's unique constitution, our own body's needs. If we're just putting in a ton of supplements thinking that we're just going to magically feel better one day, what we don't realize is, like, there's a first of all, there's a quality of herbs we should be taking or supplements. Then there's times of day to take different things. And then if we take too much, and especially things we don't need, then that can just create more health issues and side effects. But it can also really bog down the liver. And the liver is already bogged down with, trying to process environmental toxins and all the other things that it has to deal with. And so it's good to just get informed and get into the realm of simplicity. We don't need a bunch of supplements because supplements are just to supplement. But in order to, like, sustain true health, all we really need is really good nutrition, that nutrients that get absorbed through
I'm on a call, honey.
a really good,
Okay.
strong immune system, digestive system. So we'll talk about that too. Okay. So first we get back this understanding of our individual unique constitution that we're born with, right? This unique blueprint. When we understand this, then Ayurveda really has simple solutions for optimizing your health, all the components, right? Physical, mental, spiritual. And the beautiful thing is that with the wisdom of the Ayurvedic approach, then we become empowered in our self-care practices and in our choices. So this strongly prevents disease and imbalance when we get in alignment with this approach. So when you get equipped with all this wisdom and knowledge of knowing what you need and when you need it to restore your balance and experience rejuvenation, especially after the holidays, we feel maybe depleted. We're wondering, how we're going to carry out this whole next year. And not everybody sets resolutions anymore, but it's good to at least, understand and be aware of changes that you need to make to want to feel better in your body. And we get stuck in these patterns and these ruts, and it's nice to know the how, and because we know the why. We know why we want to change because of the way we feel in our body. Not just in our body, but the way we feel mentally, the way we feel day to day, and just knowing that we could feel better. So for everyone who joins the series, I'll offer a personal consultation and assessment so you can understand your constitution and have the best support that you need to curate your daily and seasonal routines throughout our learning, and even what and when to eat, how and when to exercise, how to optimize your metabolism. So really strengthen that digestive fire so that when you do take things into your body, they're metabolized properly and utilized properly. How to optimize your sleep, balance your hormones, and then a lot of self-care rituals and practices to support your body in all of these ways also. So let me just outline for you kind of what that will look like. So we are going to do 12 weeks. Once a week on Self-Care Sunday, we'll have a class and we'll learn a new concept and how to implement it. So each week builds on each other. And it's intentionally, kind of drawn out because it takes time. It takes time to learn something, understand it, implement it, and have it become part of your routine. Have it become like a new habit. It takes time to establish new habits and rituals. But when it is established, it becomes a routine, and routines support circadian rhythm, which aligns with your nervous system, your endocrine system, so your hormones, and then we start to experience overall balance. Then with our new rituals and routines, and it's just the new normal, and we find ourselves becoming healthier and stronger in all aspects. So we'll begin by learning the foundations of Ayurvedic medicine, really understanding how it works and how it really starts with understanding the constitution. And what are the elements that make up your constitution? And based on that, then we're going to be able to know how to customize this routine, this daily and seasonal routine. And then we'll go in to learn how to implement it properly and make the diet and lifestyle choices you need to support it. So self-awareness is the most important medicine, and we'll cultivate this in these first few weeks. You'll really understand who you are, your mental nature, your physical nature, and spiritual nature, and how to bring all of those components into harmony. And then next, we will talk about Dinacharya. So Dina means daily and Charya means routine. So daily routine and rhythm is one of the most powerful concepts in Ayurvedic medicine. And it really makes sense because routines calm the nervous system. It communicates safety and a sense of calm to our energy body. Establishing a daily and seasonal routine around your constitution is where you can really start to feel more steady. Not because, life changes, because life's always changing, but because your relationship to it does. Your relationship to your responsibilities, to how you show up for yourself and for others changes. Your relationship to food changes. Your mental, your mindset around, oh, somebody's trying to come in. Sorry. Yeah, your mental capacity around all of that changes. So, sorry, somebody's trying to come in, so I just want to let them in. But I don't see how, so. There we go. Okay. So daily seasonal routine. So does that make sense? It's your relationship to it, because, the world is going on as it goes on. And then it's like, how do we show up for it? And how do we create that space for ourselves? And if we're saying to ourselves, I just don't have the time for daily self-care, then, we can change that mindset into something that's healthier. And then we are going to understand because of your constitution, what are your tendencies? What are the things in that you're made of that make you crave certain things and that are drawn to certain things? Really understanding how to make wise choices because of that new self-awareness that you'll have. So the what, the when, the why, and the how of food choices, moving towards attunement, towards balance. It's not necessarily restriction, but it's just a matter of like, when is the best time for me to eat this thing that I'm craving? Or how can I balance it so that it's not so hard on my digestion? There's ways to, if you understand the principles, to really find balance, even, if you want to be indulgent. I'm just going to say, there's ways to do it. So there, you don't have to restrict things. It's just about understanding the principles so that you find balance within every choice that you make. But in order to get the most out of your food, then you have to get a really strong, optimized digestive fire, right? We need those nutrients to get down to the cellular level. And there's a whole process, even a sometimes like a 21-day process of those nutrients cycling through each layer of tissues until it gets down to the cellular level. And when we have optimized nutrition that gets down to the cellular level, then we'd have optimized health. When we have ojas, we have vitality, we have radiant glow in our skin, in our eyes, and we feel good. And when we feel good, we're naturally, like, mentally feeling good too. So learning how to strengthen your digestive fire, optimize metabolism. So if any of you, like me, I've really been struggling with like a sluggish metabolism and getting things moving and grooving. And, for me, the imbalances I'm going through, I have to really understand, how to optimize my metabolism during this time. So I can benefit from the abundant absorption of nutrients, right? That make us feel rejuvenated. And in Ayurveda, digestion is considered the root of your health. So if you're not digesting, you're not getting your nutrients and you're getting imbalanced, and disease starts accumulating in your body and toxins, right? Because if we're not digesting our food properly, whatever's not getting digested stays stored in your body and becomes toxic. And it stores the toxins in our bodies eventually get stored in our fat cells. So then it has to all get drawn out with deep cleansing and everything. But we can always work towards preventing that strong, heavy, toxic load by optimizing our digestion and digestive fire and our metabolism. And we can do this, if not even with supplements, but with simple ingredients you probably already have in your kitchens right now. So you don't have to go buy a bunch of fancy herbs and supplements and everything, because you probably have a lot of the things that I would recommend and teach you how to do right there in your kitchen. So when we have a digestive system and digestive strength that is compromised, even when we are eating healthy or health food, that can also leave us feeling depleted. So even though we're like, okay, this is supposed to be healthy, I'm just a bunch of vegetables and whatever, it's still not making you feel very good. It's still not like changing your metabolism and things. So digestive strength is really the core of our health. Like, these are our vehicles, these are our bodies, and they have to utilize nutrition as fuel. So it's just learning how to optimize it with the right kind of fuel. And yeah, so we just want to learn to eat in the right way, in the right proportions, in the right balanced types of meals, spices, right food combinations, so that we make the most of our meals and get the most out of them. And I really want to teach you how to do that. So, does anybody feel like they have digestive issues they'd like to optimize? Anybody feel that way? Yeah, it's a big thing. Digestive issues are quite the common thing these days, for sure. So we're all in it together in that way. And then we're going to learn about self-care rituals. So reconnecting with ourselves in a way of performing these self-care rituals on our five sense organs. And reconnecting the senses with this like act of self-care and self-love increases the dopamine response, but it also is putting things in and on our bodies that help to support the lymphatic system. So getting the toxins out and that any sluggish feelings out, the lymphatic help if you have a sluggish lymphatic system, we have a sluggish metabolism. Sluggish lymphatic system, we feel pain and stiffness in our bodies. We have fogginess in our minds and in our brains. We don't taste our food very well. We don't have a very strong appetite because everything's just kind of bogged down and sluggish. So we're going to learn how to, do a daily cleansing of our lymphatic system and nourishing our nervous system. So what we see, hear, touch, taste, smell, so right, all our five sense organs, directly impacts our mental health. And everything we take in through our sense organs becomes our diet and needs to be digested. We have to digest every input that we see, hear, taste, touch. Everything that we experience through our sense organs has to be assimilated and processed by the body. Every smell creates a memory and then an emotion. Every experience created has to be assimilated and then digested. And so this can, thinking about that, your diet in that way, what are you going to choose to listen to or look at or smell or put on your skin and taste and touch? These are all more informed decisions we can make to support our constitution. So really creating a more balanced environment around us. And modern life, is very overwhelming to the senses constantly. So just gaining more awareness in a general way for your own self and for your own diet, and starting to make those little changes to just bring more harmony and support for yourself. So the Ayurvedic approach to self-care really includes protecting the sensory inputs, the sensory organs. So we're going to learn how to create daily rituals around caring for your skin, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, and protect the sensory input organs, protect them, nourish them so that, everything they take in can be received better and assimilated better by the body, processed better, more efficiently. And all of these practices, these self-care practices, will create a sense of containment. So they signal safety to the nervous system. And even in this ritual, these rituals that we do, because we have to perform them on ourselves, it creates a boundary. So when we care for the senses intentionally, we're saying, my body matters and what I need is just as important as what everyone else needs. And our self-care becomes a priority. It becomes sacred. And when we honor this, then we find we grow healthier boundaries in our relationships and with our time. And we are, we're of the belief that we deserve this. This is our time. And the benefits of that just kind of spill out and spill over onto others and our relationships. It becomes healthier, it becomes stronger, it becomes more fulfilling.
Can I add a thought?
Yeah.
Um, I just wanted to add that because you were mentioning earlier, like a lot of people feeling like they don't have the time in their day. What I started doing, because I feel like oftentimes in your head, things take so much longer than they actually do. So what I'll do sometimes is if there's something that I'm putting off doing because I'm like, oh, I just don't have the time to do that, I will finally do it, but I'll time myself how long it takes. And I'm always surprised at how little time it actually takes. So, like implementing all these things that you're going to teach, I feel like when we hear it, the brain is like, oh no, like I don't have that much
No.
time in my day.
One more
It really
thing.
doesn't take that much time though. So, I would encourage people to, if they feel like I don't know, are stuck in that pattern of thinking to time themselves to actually get out their phone and time themselves doing things and be surprised that, oh, washing my face took 2 minutes actually, not this exaggerated long time
Yeah,
that it feels like it's going to take. So,
so true. Thank you. That's a really good insight. And I love that um, did that little test just to see because it's true. Like things feel and sound so much bigger in our minds, but then when we actually, it's like, oh, I got to go clean out my closet. Oh my God, it's going to take me all day. And then you go and do it, and it's like, oh, that only took an hour. That's not that bad,
yeah,
So yeah, our minds just want to be like, oh, so heavy all the time. But it's because we're already so overstimulated. Our nervous systems and when we do have that response, and I was actually going to come circle around to it at the end and really dig into it more. But maybe at first, it might take a little time because you're implementing things and you're creating, kind of this checklist of rituals that you want to practice every day of self-care for yourself. And but once you've done it and it becomes routine, then it's just like, oh, it just takes me this long. I'm just going to do it real quick. Um, and yeah, it's really becomes that simple once you get past that like barrier, that mental
yeah,
barrier. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I will circle back to that. But this is just the second to last of this. So after we've figured out, all our self-care rituals, then we're going to talk about seasonal living. So the dinacharya was the daily routines. Ritucharya is the seasonal routines. So ritu actually means joint. It's the joint or the vulnerable time when the season is changing. And we all know that it's a vulnerable time because people get sick. People get sick most commonly when the season changes. And it's because, our body's systems get out of balance, our physiology becomes out of balance because of the fluctuations that are happening in with the weather and in the nature, right? And each season carries qualities that affect the body. So, like if you feel sluggish or foggy or emotionally heavy come springtime, that's our physiology. With all the accumulation of things stored up in the body, it could be just like heavy toxic sludge. It could be a lot of mucus. A lot of people get like allergies and colds, and the body's just trying to get all this sludge out, all this accumulation over the winter when we're really kind of packing it in a little bit more, especially over the holidays. And then in the springtime, it gets warmer. And then what's happening in nature? Oh, everything's melting. Rivers are flowing stronger and the ice and everything's melting. And that's kind of what's happening in our body. All that sludge is getting liquefied a little bit. it's getting warmer, and so our body's trying to release it. And then we feel, extra congestion, we get congestion in our lungs, we get coughing, and we're just, a little bit off in our physiology trying to get into balance with the new season. And likewise, when spring shifts to summer and fall shifts to winter. And so every season, once you've established your daily routines, then you can easily create your seasonal routines, which is, like maybe doing a short home cleansing, a few days of light and easy to digest meals, some herbal support, maybe in order to reset your digestion, rejuvenate your tissues, your lymphatic system, your nervous system, and all of that, just a few days of just giving yourself a gentle reset can really be powerful in preventing illness and maintaining balance through the transitional season. So once the series concludes, it will be a perfect segue into crafting a spring home cleanse, and you can really experience what Ayurveda can really deliver. And it's all from your own efforts. It's all in your own home. It's all with your own kitchen supplies. And, it's just, we will finish our time together, but you can continue. This is for you to take and continue out in your life, and, with full support. And it's always here if you need it. And you don't need clinical doctors or expensive treatments. You just need to return to your kitchen and get to know yourself, really. Empowering ownership, not dependency. So the last of the sessions will be about integration, making this yours. It's, we're not here to learn perfection, but we're just going to live with a growing awareness of self. Everyone's rhythm might look a little different in terms of finding what works and letting go of what doesn't, and how to understand balance, just by really carrying these practices forward realistically, practically. Ayurveda honors individuality. So we're just creating consistency. That's really the key. It's not about intensity, if we're doing it right, if we're doing it wrong. It's just being consistent. It's showing up and just making a little bit of effort. And you're going to learn a lot of discernment too, like how to sense what supports you, how to know what you need when you need it, when you're off balance, and then learning what would be balancing. It's like we all know what it feels like to not be imbalanced, but we don't all know what is it that I could do right now to help bring that balance back. And there's lot of simple things that you don't need to spend a lot of time or energy on. If you just take a little time to learn and understand these principles, then you're going to be like, wow, this is so simple. This is back to nature. This is back to what my body already knows. And it just feels so natural. And, it is simple enough a child even could understand it. So we just want to return to rhythm. We just want to bring this all woven together back to nature, back to rhythm. And, like Savannah was saying, and I was saying earlier, when you create that rhythm, that routine, it doesn't feel like effort anymore. It just becomes a part of how you live. Just like whatever your normal habits are now, they can still be there, or they can be changed out for the new ones that we're going to create together. And this container exists so you don't have to figure it out alone. And you don't have to go on the internet and be like, what does Ayurveda say about this? And I mean, there's all that information out there, but it's not contained, right? It's all over the place, and it makes you feel scattered and like, whoo, I don't even know what to do. Maybe should I buy this? Should I take that class? Like, how do we know, right? So it's nice to have a container where we can do these things together, and integrate these teachings rather than just having them be ideas or words on a page on the screen, right? Realistically and practically, you're going to be learning how to govern your own health, like take the reins of your own health journey with support, finding your way out of the ruts that we get stuck in. Um, so so circling back to what Savannah was talking about, I did want to address a couple of things that commonly come to people's minds. So the first one, I don't have the time. And this makes complete sense. Most people, you know, we're already having full plates, right? We all have a lot of full plates, and that's kind of the new normal. Um, but it's really not about adding more to your schedule. It's just about changing how you move through the day you already have. Um, like practices are simple and they're practical, right? Practical practices. Routine reduces decision fatigue. So it's like, okay, I already know what I need to do to take care of myself. I know my constitution. My kitchen is equipped with the food and the nourishment that I need. Um, so this kind of really hones in on what you need and not trying to make all these decisions about what you do need because you're just kind of wondering, do I need this? Do I need that? And pulling from all directions, and it just creates a lot of um, it can create a lot of scatteredness in the nervous system, right? Um, and then the consistency, like when we do have a good routine and we're following it as best we can, and when I say as best we can, I'm saying at least 4 out of 7 days of the week. So don't think that this has to take over your life, that you're going to be bogged down with like routines, because once you create the consistency, you're going to save energy over time. You're going to save energy. Even 5 minutes of a grounding practice done regularly has more impact than an hour done occasionally, right? So we know that consistency really is the key. And one of my teachers told me something that I'll never forget, and I actually learned it to be true, is that if you can imagine a jar, right? You imagine a jar, and this jar is your life. Let's say right now it's just filled to the brim with rocks. Every rock in there is a responsibility or a thing you have to do or something else that's going on in your life. So we all have jars that are just filled to the brim. We don't know how we can't even fit one more rock, one more thing into our jar. But the funny thing is, or the miraculous thing is, that when we prioritize self-care and we make sure that that stone is in the jar, then this jar just grows and there's actually more space in it. And you will find that you'll have more time, more space, more energy, more stress-free responses to life when you have filled your cup. When you gave yourself that time in the morning. And why in the morning? Oh, well, because if you don't do it in the morning, when are you going to do it? As soon as you pick up that phone or get in that car and drive away, when are you going to have that time back that day, to do what you what you deserve to be able to do for yourself? So it's just taking that time in the morning to really do it. Of course, you can have a routine in the evening. And of course, it's not all about the morning. Daily routines are about your whole day, right? But I'm talking about those self-care practices, the things that you don't feel like you have time for. Prioritizing self-care will give you that grace so that your cup doesn't feel so full. But even if it is full, you have more grace. And you might even find like, wow, I can actually take on more than I used to because I'm more equipped. I'm more stable and grounded because of the self-care I've been doing. So then there's this other one. I'm worried it will feel overwhelming. So learning new concepts, taking on new new things that will take up some time in your day, that can feel like, like here's another thing that somebody's telling me to do for just 10 minutes a day. Like here's another thing. But it's a genuine concern. And it means you're listening to your nervous system. It means your nervous system is already overwhelmed also. If you have that response to everything you hear or every new thing that somebody tries to offer you, it's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, then that's your nervous system. You're overwhelmed. But these are the exact rituals, practices, approaches that will help that overwhelm, that will rejuvenate the exhaustion, that will balance your nervous system in a way that this feeling of overwhelm isn't so heavy. You might have a lot of things on your plate, but you won't feel so overwhelmed all the time and so heavy about it all the time. Um, and you know, that's why I'm not introducing everything all at once. We're going to go week by week, 1 week at a time, one new concept at a time. And it's going to really grow into something that's not overwhelming. It's slow pacing, and that's intentional, one layer at a time, to create repetition, to cultivate a really powerful practice that's going to support you. So there's no like, there's even though there's like a week to week thing, there's not ever going to be a place where you're like, oh, I have to catch up or I'm falling behind, and there's no pressure to do everything. You're simply invited to receive, um, not perform. It's not a challenge. There's no pressure to keep up. There's always going to be a replay available that you're always going to have access to, so you can always refer back to the information. Um, Rest is always going to be part of the practice, knowing how and when to find that true rest, to keep rejuvenate, keep yourself on the path. And this program isn't here to take from you, it's here to support you. And if joining feels nourishing, then if it feels like if it feels nourishing, then we're here for you. But if it feels like too much, then honoring that is also part of self-care. So
Ava,
yeah.
can I make a comment? So
Mhm.
I wanted to say that one, I travel for work, and these practices, having a morning and an evening routine, really helps. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me focused. And actually, as you're talking about this overwhelm, it's really where I just felt like I needed to say this, that I feel like if you create a morning routine for yourself, if you're feeling overwhelmed, then it's even more a reason to do it. And as you do these things and learn them, and they're super easy to learn and do, and they don't take much time, they actually they cross out the overwhelm. You're like, oh,
Mhm.
my day, I don't actually feel so overwhelmed now, because when you own your morning, when you own it for yourself, everything else is going to feel a lot better and fall into play. So, when I appreciate you doing this. I'm excited to learn a bunch of stuff. And again, it's just implementing a couple things. Are you willing to get up at the same time and be with yourself and write gratitude things and drink warm water? Just fun stuff like
Yeah.
that. It'll change your life. So,
And a little goes a long way.
a long ways.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. So, um, there's more details through this QR code if you scan it, or you can just go to the website, or maybe you've already seen my emails and all that stuff. But um, once someone registers, they're going to get prompted to schedule a consultation. And so you can get all equipped with everything you need to begin. But just take your time, feel into it. You can always reach out if you want to talk to me more, or need any answers, questioned one-on-one. But I'm just super grateful that you all came and for your time, attention. Uh, this is a real passion of mine, and it's helped me immensely in my own health journey. And of course, so many others, and that's why I love to share it. It's because I know how transformational and powerful it can really be, and actually how simple. Um, but it's not a trend, it's not a quick fix. It just meets you right where you're at and um really helps you just kind of grow in more awareness with yourself and that's a powerful thing. It changes your life in better ways. So so thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Does anybody have any questions at this time? Any questions now?
So when does it start?
January 25th.
And what time of night will it be?
Well, it's on Sundays, so every week it'll be a Sunday, and I was just gonna wait and see who registered and then ask everybody what would be the best time for them.
Okay.
But I was hoping to do it on Sundays because it's like self-care Sunday kind of
Well,
thing.
if 6:30 or 7, I don't
PM.
want to make it late, but I'll be working, but I'll join or watch
Yeah, there's always going to be
the recaps.
recordings. Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool. You doing good, Carla? Melissa? Hope so.
Mhm. Thank you, Seva.
You're welcome, Savannah.
Inspired me. I feel very, yeah, inspired and there's, I don't know, routine that I have already been trying to keep up with and practice and listening and like what you're saying about the overwhelm, what you and both Nick said it yeah, just makes sense and I'm excited to learn more.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. Well, if there's no questions, then Carla and Melissa, you know how to reach out. You know how to find me. You can send me an email or a text, um, or however, and be happy to talk anytime. Okay. All right. See you guys later. Have a good evening.
Thank you very
You-
much.
You're welcome, Melissa.
I
You're
enjoyed it.
welcome. You're
Yes.
welcome, Carla. Thank you. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.